Previously on National Chef of the Year and Young National Chef of the Year.
The atmosphere was tense. You could definitely cut with a knife. Busy, everyone everywhere.
Time escapes you. Next thing you look up, it's 5 minutes to go.
This competition isn't just about being a good cook, it's about being a complete chef.
I think probably the day got the better of me a bit.
Those chefs have gone on some journey this year.
It's a big accolade. It's going to open a lot of doors for you.
We have got one serious competition.
I can't believe it. It's something dreams are made of.
For me, National Chef of the Year was a fantastic opportunity to do a competition that I held in really high regard. To have the opportunity to be judged by amazing chefs was fantastic, and beyond that, the relationships kind of formed since then with previous winners, the judges, the Craft Guild, and also come into places like Rationale today to talk to them about their kit and all the rest of it. It's been great.
It means everything, you know. It was the beginning of everything. I think in my progression as a chef, opened a lot of doors, and it built a lot of strong relationships and friendships that have lasted ever since.
Definitely being in the final is a massive mix of emotions.
I was confident with my cooking, I was confident with my menu, I was confident, I practiced a lot. There was no other way in my head just to sort of, you know, I need to win it.
Probably my proudest moment as a chef. So much effort you put into these things beforehand, and then when it kind of comes to a conclusion and you come out on top, it's the only way I could really describe the way I felt afterwards was quite emotional, I think.
The buzz of it, like I thought, like I'm actually part of this. You know, I'm part of the final 10. There may be a slim chance that, you know, it could be me.
When Will said my dishes, I knew it was me, but I couldn't register it. I couldn't believe it.
Relief. I think because I built in my own head the pressure throughout the day, throughout probably the 3 weeks, you know, heading to that final. The first thing was like, yeah, you know what I mean. It's I've done it.
When I didn't hear my name in the first, the third, and the second, I was thinking, like, could this just have I done it? Could this be the opportunity? When the doors opened, I just can't tell you. It was basically 5 years that had just come out in complete emotion. You just picture things in your head and think, will they ever come true? And that was a dream that actually come true for me.
I think from entering competitions, it's made me push myself. It's given me more confidence in my cooking and my abilities as a chef.
You've gained confidence from it. You know, you learn a little bit more about your character.
Well, the friends and, you know, the relationship and, you know, from National Chef of the Year, you know, it's a family, there's no doubt about it.
Being welcomed into that group has been something that's really special. I think there's some fantastic chefs that have gone through the process. There's a bond that we've all got. We've all kind of been through that same experience. It's fantastic to be part of that.
Over time, you build up real strong friendships with these people. The respect that I had for those judges, and I still have for those judges, I consider them now friends, a lot of them, led me to become a better chef outside of National Chef of the Year. And every time we meet, or we have a phone call or a Zoom, as we have for the last couple of years, or a judging panel, I feel like I grow a little bit more every time we have those meetings, because of the people I'm sharing the room with, and because of our family, you know.
Still have to pinch myself now that I'm part of it, to be honest, and I'm very, very proud to be part of it.
National Chef of the Year and Young National Chef of the Year is so important because it really captures chefs on their way up through their careers, the kind of competition that every chef wants to win. And it's got a huge legacy of winners, past winners, household names now as well. But also, it moves with the times, so it's a great competition for chefs that really want to demonstrate what's important to them, whether it's sustainability, whether it's provenance, seasonality, and styles of cooking as well. So it captures everything. National Chef of the Year is so important for chefs. It's the competition to win. It's the thing that really sets them above their peer group. A competition that is so well respected. It's the bucket list for every chef to be able to say, I'm the National Chef of the Year title holder at some point in their career. So 2 years ago, when National Chef of the Year and Young National Chef of the Year were impacted around the COVID situation, many events were cancelled. But we decided, let's go for it. Let's change the structure of the competition to allow people to enter. It actually turned out to be a great idea because so many chefs were going through tough times, and we provided something of an outlet for them. So competing probably became more important, and it was our job to make sure that we adapted the competition to allow them to compete safely in a way that was innovative and creative, and that's what we did. We changed the competition to suit the times that were changing. When we're looking for a winner, we're always looking for that whole person. It's not just one strong course. They have to have a balance of strength across the menu, because we've asked them to tell their story through food in 3 different ways, and that menu then reflects it. So we're really looking for how they execute their food, how they focus on the basics. Presentation, of course, is important, but it's all about flavor, it's all about taste. So we're looking for a great menu, executed well, comfortably as well, that chef really feels comfortable with the menu they're producing. And out of that will come a very strong contender and a winner.
We're really proud as Nor Professional to support this event, and we have done for the past 25 years. It's a brilliant competition that brings together the industry's very best to showcase their talents and skills, and we're really proud that we're there as part of that. This year alone, we've worked with so many previous winners, from the Young National Chef of the Year, Edwin, to the seniors, Steve Groves, Nick Smith, Cuba Winkowski, taking our sustainable ingredients and really showcasing how they would deliver them in their environments. And it's so important that we as Nor show these ingredients coming to life with amazing dishes that they produce. I really want to say one thing to all the competitors in this final. After the last 20 months you've had, thank you for turning up. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your continued hard work and effort to make this industry what it is. It's amazing, and it's people like you that do it. So from Nor Professional, thank you for being here, and I can't wait to see what you've done with the future 50 ingredients.
Famed Parisian hospitality school Le Cordon Bleu celebrates its 125th birthday this year. To celebrate, they've opened up Cord by Le Cordon Bleu, a brand new restaurant, cafe and training school. But today, it's the home of the National Chef of the Year and Young National Chef of the Year finals.
When I was asked to become the chairman of the Young National Chef of the Year, it was a big honor. The young chefs are our ambassadors, and they are the ones who will take this industry forward. So Young National Chef of the Year is a stepping stone.
Why do I like judging the Young National Chef of the Year is purely because what National Chef of the Year has done for me. It's my time to give it back to me, and I'm very lucky that I get a chance to do this.
This year's competition will be judged by an esteemed panel of judges, including Chantal Nicholson, Adam Hanling, Alan Williams, Lisa Goodwin-Allen, Julie Walsh and George Blogg. What are we looking for today?
So what we're looking for is obviously great piece of food, great cooking, and the most important bit in here is how they have interpreted the criteria. These are the great British dishes which they are going to make for us with a twist. Consistency is the key, so all the 3 courses should be absolutely balanced. Flavor is the key, but I think this one is going to come down to the pudding today. Excellent. Because the pudding is with a twist. It's a humble crumble with a twist. So I just hope that they deliver on that one. The quality of these guys who are in here today is incredible. So I think we're going to have one serious good final.
It's time to start the Young National Chef of the Year final.
The atmosphere is very tense.
Tensions are high. Everybody was focused, everyone was running around trying to get everything going. Feeling quite calm and collected, good mindset, positivity, and smash it out.
Excited and nervous. Everybody's just keeping heads down and pushing on.
Everybody is nervous and excited at the same time as well.
You got like a little inside, just feels like it's grabbing you in the moment. Really exciting.
There's no point worrying about what other people are doing. I wasn't really concentrating on that. I was just getting as set as possible.
Everyone's very busy. I was trying not to look at people too much, just keep to my own dishes, but yeah, there was a lot of running around.
Slow down, breathe, and
Just trying to focus, thinking of what I've got in the ovens and what I've got on the stoves, trying to keep it all under control.
What's the point being stressed? What's that going to achieve you? You know why you're here, you know what you're going to do, so just, do it.
I don't know what you mean. Were you in there? I was calm the whole time.
I wasn't.
I was shaking like a dog.
The build-up, and then it all kicked off and everyone was like quiet. Kept calm and cool, and the tension for me personally kind of like went after the first 15 minutes.
There's a little bit of chat that just like about who's nervous or who's doing what, but everyone's keeping the cards close to the chest, as am I, so it's a tense atmosphere.
It's quite stressful. 2 hours is not a long time.
I'm thinking time goes much quicker when you're under pressure.
All that's running through my mind is looking at my time plan and thinking this and this needs to go on pretty much straight away, and thinking in my head how to set the course for the rest of the competition really.
We're all here to cook food because that's what we love doing, and you can really feel the sense of occasion in the room that we're all here to do something special.
Good morning, everybody. This is it. You are here for a good reason, and that is to cook great food. Every single judge today has walked in and said, this is going to be amazing, better than the seniors. I always say that, but it will be. First 15 minutes are crucial. Push yourselves to the limit as much as possible. All the best and cook your heart out.
I was feeling quite confident about my menu. I've practiced it loads of times. I know what I was doing, had a little checklist as I was going.
How's it going, Stephen?
Yeah, it's good, thank you.
From a brief perspective, when you first saw it, what was your first reaction?
Nice little playful little classic on things that you cook at home with your family.
Stephen Naylor works as a junior sous chef under Tom Phillips at Restaurant Story in London. With big goals and dreams, Stephen believes winning today would go a long way in building his confidence and experience. He hopes his playful, thoughtful and precise cooking will help him go for gold today.
Last 6 months I've been working at Restaurant Story. It's taken over quite a lot of my time because the challenges we faced during the pandemic. So we've done a lot of at-home boxes there. We've done a lot of stuff for charity events and things like that to help out the local community, cooking for the local hospitals and the homeless. So we have loads of leftover veg, so let's cook it into a massive minestrone and go hand it out to the homeless people around London. So that was something that I'm quite proud of that we did. Quite a challenge over the last 6 months in the industry, but really getting a sense from today that everyone's pulling together and we're going to get through it. Really happy that I achieved getting to the final. It's gave me the extra drive and focus to push myself. So today I'm cooking a Scotch broth with a strong focus on Future 50. I was happy that everything went as planned.
It's definitely got flavour. That's delicious.
It's like that caramelised turnip, you just get that sweetness.
Had a bit of the shakes in the middle, especially with the starter. I was trying to plate stuff up and I was wobbling here, there and everywhere, but hey, if you're not pushing yourself, if you're not driving yourself, there's no point.
Following an apprenticeship with the Gordon Ramsay Group, Josh Rooney is now a chef de partie at Paul Ainsworth at number 6. Having always wanted to be a chef, Josh hopes his commitment and culinary skills will help him join the illustrious list of winners today.
I moved to Cornwall in October last year after working in London for 5 years. During lockdown, I think everyone had time of reflection. I thought, I just need a new opportunity and a change. I decided to go and have a look at Paul Ainsworth at number 6 in Cornwall. I fell in love with Cornwall as soon as I got there. The atmosphere, the people in Cornwall, you sit on the tube on your way to work when you work in London and no one will make eye contact with you, but you walk 10 minutes down the road, everyone's like, morning, morning. Super excited to cook for the judges in there today. Adam Handling, Lisa Goodwin-Allen. So much talent in that room. See what they think about you as a chef and hear their feedback.
Oh yeah.
So my starter is a Scotch broth inspired, spelt almost like a risotto with a beautiful mushroom broth.
And then carrots and orange juice or something.
So Ian, let's talk through the brief.
It was interesting, the whole kind of recreation thing. I like the idea, obviously, with everything we're going through at the moment, kind of trying to get back to our British heritage.
Returning finalist and chef de partie Ian Davies is determined more than ever to impress this year. Considering Ian wanted to play rugby for Wales, he is hoping his simple, tasty and elegant food can get him over the line this year.
Last 6 months, just generally working on myself, trying to change my lifestyle, be healthier, better in myself for the team around me. I looked at my last year's experience. I was stressed last year, I was very angry last year, I was very emotional last year, where this year I looked at myself and thought I need to calm down, I need to cool, and that's helped me get this competition, but at the end of the day we're all here to cook, you know, and doing what I love. Coming out of it today feeling happy, you know what I mean? Even with the mistakes or the little bits or the nickety bits that have been said to me, you know what I mean? I don't think I could have done any better, and that's the best thing you can do, you know? What it means for me to win, it would mean everything. It kind of like maybe gives me more of an idea of where I should be and where I could be. Whether I win or lose, I'm happy. My take on a Scotch broth, pearl barley risotto with a mushroom consommé and just some nice poached vegetables. I was hoping to get my starter up in the 45 minutes, and then you hear that you've got an hour and 15 minutes left, and it's like, you know what I mean, like crap, you know what I mean, I gotta get my head in the game. But that's nerves. First dish, I always find it's the hardest one.
What'd you forget? Got some mushrooms on it.
It's definitely a Scottish portion. I think he may have forgot to put the mushrooms on.
Through lockdown, I definitely did a lot of research, so I kind of had a few ideas before I even knew the brief.
Inspired by chefs like Claire Smith and Lisa Goupin-Allen, Beth Disley-Jones is junior sous chef in pastry at the Art School restaurant in Liverpool. Beth is hoping to impress the judges with her creative, precise and artistic cooking today.
As a chef, I think you always want to develop your skills and you always want to be learning stuff, so I think probably every chef here would say that it was hard just being on complete pause. It's just so nice to get back into it and get feedback from the judges, because even if it's bad, it's all good because you're learning. It was hard not being in work, I think. When we started doing the takeaway boxes, that's when everyone's spirits kind of lifted just to be doing something. It was worrying to see if we'd survive, because the reality is some places didn't survive. So I think we've been so lucky that now we're back open, we've been busy. It's been really good to put my mind on something else. My dessert might have been the strongest, but the most fun I had was actually on the starter. I don't do savoury in work, so it's just playing around with the Scotch broth. It was a lot of fun. Vegetable Scotch broth with a truffle egg yolk, spelt tweal and pearl barley.
Well, when I first heard the brief, I was a bit shocked, because it's like Scotch broth, crumble, fish and chips. This is the things we've grown up on.
Demi-chef to party at the Angel at Hetton, finalist Keaton Cooper is inspired by three huge names in the culinary world: Daniel Humm, Alan Passard and Gordon Ramsay. Can he channel his idols today?
My nana's probably one of the inspirations for this menu. She used to mind me when my mum was at work, so I'd always be in the kitchen cooking with her. She makes everything from scratch. I don't think I've told her she's my inspiration yet. Yeah, she's got a big ego as it is, so she knows she's played a big part in where I am. I've told her that, and she's really excited, looking forward to finding out the result. Said whatever the result is, she's proud. First 15 minutes were tense. Everyone was just trying to crack on, get things done. I had to get 4 or 5 jobs done in the first 15 minutes to make sure it was going to run smoothly. It was quite tense, but exciting. So to start with, I'll be doing a Norse Future 50 Scotch broth. So I'll incorporate pumpkin, buckwheat, watercress, maitake mushrooms.
It's a pretty looking plate of food. Packed all the Future 50 foods in there.
It's a big bowl of cuddles, and this one was a big bowl of sweet cuddles.
Did a few run-throughs, which allowed me to know exactly what needed to be done.
Sous chef at Chills of Henley in Warwickshire, Matthew Nichols loves to compete. So much so, he's taken part in at least one competition every year since he began his training. He's determined to make his return to the final his best yet.
We shut for a considerable amount of time because we were in Tier 3. It wasn't great. I mean, it affected everyone differently. I managed to find a bit of work through December at a ramen place in Worcester, and so we're in Tier 2, which was really good. Taught me loads of different cooking techniques and some ingredients I've never seen before, which I've used in my starter. It kind of toyed between, is this ever going to end? Do I need to go and find a new job coming out of hospitality? But there was a light at the end of the tunnel. The company I work for, very supportive. We started to do a few takeaways through the lockdown just to keep ourselves busy. Coming back, it's just been hectic, busy. It's been really good, yeah. Today I'm cooking the wakame seaweed and shiitake mushroom broth, pearl barley, a spelt cracker with mushroom ketchup and pickled schmidcheese.
This is more of a broth kind of thing.
It's really hearty.
First plate's just gone out, first starter's just gone out.
Absolutely.
There's not long to go.
No, there's not
We
long to go.
need to see some more dishes, no?
That's correct. Now there's a lot going on every single dish, on every and the elements that they're bringing it together. But there's not much time left, so they really need to push on now, or else it will be very critical, and they will eat into their judging time.
If you just breathe, focus on the job you're doing, it stops you from flustering.
Daniel Cornish, senior chef de partie at Le Manoir aux Quatre Saisons, says it takes perseverance, determination and dedication to lift the title. Having previously worked at Chewton Glen and the French Laundry, Daniel will certainly be able to use those experiences to harness the will to win.
So during the pandemic, I actually set up a small community bakery in my local village where I would make bread daily and sell it to the local village people. And it was really interesting. I got to sort of experience how a small business would run, and it was really fun to do. Like, we got a lot of good feedback, and everyone loved it in the village, and it sort of brought the community a bit closer together, which was nice. It meant the world to me to win, because I think it would open up so many opportunities, not just in Britain but around the world. I think my strongest would be the Scotch broth. When I was growing up, quite often we'd have soup, but we'd also have homemade bread with it, so that's where the spelt bread idea came from.
Wow.
I love this idea.
Delicious.
Very like butter. I'm definitely stealing that one. But the bread's delicious.
It is delicious.
Chef, you just served your starter?
Yeah.
Happy?
Yeah, quite happy.
Yeah?
Bit pushed for time for the mains and desserts, but I think I'm on the road.
Okay, we'll let you push on.
Thank you very
much.
much.
Having previously worked at the Hand and Flowers and the Royal Household, Robert McCreary Breen is now a chef de partie at Paul Ainsworth at number 6. With a huge interest in food from a young age and an appetite to match, he's hoping he can rely on his culinary experiences to help him impress our judging royalty today.
The pandemic was tough. I was fortunate enough to work the whole way through. I worked for the royal family, sometimes in quite long periods of isolation, away from friends and family, long days, but I was quite lucky and compared to some of my friends and colleagues. Young National Chef of the Year means the next step in my career for me. It gave me something to focus on, work on menus, forget stresses, just be creative and cook. Today for my starter, I'm cooking a Khorasan and root vegetable Scotch broth with mushroom consommé, microherbs and pesto. I would have liked to just kind of create a little bit more of a richer broth.
It's overwhelmingly tarragony.
Sagar, you just served your starter.
Yes.
How are you feeling?
Feeling very good about it.
Sagar Massey, a junior sous chef at Russex Hotel in St Andrews, wanted to be a pilot as a child but was lured by the thrill of a kitchen. Sagar returns to the final this year with his comforting and resourceful approach to cooking. Will he fly to new heights today?
In the lockdown, I was just at home. I was cooking for my mom and dad. My mom is a really brilliant Indian cook. I don't know much Indian cooking, so I was learning from her. So I understand the spices which goes with sweet, which go better with sour, which go with soup and stuff, which have hearty flavor. So I'm giving a spice touch in every dish as well. I always look for the competitions to go and do extra work to keep me inspired and keep learning new things. I'm coming from Scotland, so I'm doing goat cheese dumpling. So sheep curd is like representing the lamb for my dish.
It's like someone's changed the salt port to sugar.
Where have they got all this sweetness from?
Happy? Thank you so much.
Newcastle-based chef de partie Owen Connell originally planned to study languages, but the pull of the kitchen was too strong. Let's hope our judges are fluent in his balanced, flavourful and contrasting culinary language.
Back at the restaurant after COVID and all that, and it's a nice relief to get back in the kitchen. Obviously working towards this competition leading up to it was quite important and quite exciting really, to be able to come down to London from Newcastle and compete with the big lads. Come from a family of chefs, being able to go home and ask my parents about things because they always know the answer, and it's inspiring. I've never worked with my parents yet. I don't think I'd like to. I've only been working for one chef, and that's Rory Welch at Trackall. It's been really good working for him. I've learned more than I could probably ever imagine. You know, this is national, it's not regional, it's all around the country now. You know, to be in that top 10, even if I don't win, it's like when I was top 10 under 25s, I'll take that any day. So very, very, very proud and happy to be here. I'm cooking a mushroom and roasted yeast broth with Marmite roasted yeast with a garnish of wild mushrooms, pearl barley and wheat berries. For a vegetarian start, I wanted to make it, you know, as kind of powerful tasting as possible.
I think in terms of soup score, I think it looks nice. A little bit of soy in that stock and a poached egg in the middle, and I will smash that.
So let's talk about starters. Did the chefs hit the brief today?
I think they all did an amazing job, you know, really trying to create something that was hearty and delicious as well.
I think it's really beautiful to see the younger generation really trying to make something their own personality into a dish.
I feel my strongest dish is my main course, the fish and chips. The tartar sauce, the peas done in a playful way, and then the chips being little fish pomme soufflés. I went around London, every shop I went past, I tried to ask them how they do their fish. Quite secretive, but I've managed to find a few.
The fish is beautifully cooked, isn't it?
And he used Sprite in his batter. He said it's a traditional recipe using Sprite and rice flour.
I'm really, really excited for the main course. I think I cooked the cod perfectly. I was really happy with the texture of my potato. I just needed to take one more final taste to balance that sauce, and we were on for a winner.
It's very clean and presented lovely. Fish cooked perfectly.
It's just a little bit too rich.
I went down the Welsh heritage by using lava bread, so I made a pickled cockle and lava bread fricassee, and did some deep fried fish in like a tempura batter.
It's a good crisp batter. The fish is just under-seasoned, isn't it?
I wasn't fully happy with the batter for the fish because it kind of got stuck in the fryer. I wanted the batter to look like it was under the sea, and it kind of works, it being a bit rough, I guess.
It smells it's quite strong, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's nori, isn't it? Fish was really nice, actually.
Nice, yeah.
Nicer
Nice,
than
crisp.
it looks.
I'm doing tempura cod, rosti-style potatoes, pickled cockles, a pia spuma, and a curried rui.
It's nice. I like the contrast between the mayonnaise and the take on mushy peas.
I looked at what I used to have as a child from fish and chips, so stuff like cheesy chips, the scraps.
I like that.
If you close your eyes there, you've got a cheesy chip, haven't you?
You have, yeah.
What's the standard been like this year?
I think it's been really good. I think, you know, people really brought the essence of fish and chips alive, but in their own personal way. And it was really nice to see the humbling side of it, that people have really thought about the way they eat fish and chips with their families at home and what they like to eat with it.
You could almost see what part of the country they came from as well.
Yeah,
Some of
a little bit of regionality
yeah,
in there as well.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. But yeah, standard was. It's always, I always find it impressive, but yeah, this year was no different.
Okay guys, you've got 30 minutes left.
When it got down to the back end of the competition, it got a bit tense.
The odd F word flying around. At this point I hadn't prepped my tart case for my dessert. My crumble was still not made, and then I started making it, and then the machine shot all my flour across the bench, so I had to clean that down.
It's definitely stressful at the end when you don't have very long and the judges are kind of waiting for the dish.
When you get to like the last 10 minutes, and that's when you really have to push.
Well, my main worry was getting that pear set. That was definitely playing on my mind the whole time.
The texture together is really good. The flavouring's very, very clever. Maybe it just needs a bit more balance on that plate with the amount of things on there.
My apple crumble is my grandmother's, so we used to have a raspberry and apple tree in the back we used to make apple crumble with. So I've done a heavily roasted apple crumble.
The complexity of the dessert is hidden
Yes,
by it being in the bowl
Yeah.
and having the custard underneath. It would have been much better on a plate.
Everyone loves a crumble. Everyone has that story, their grandmother, their mother. My mum couldn't cook, so it was my gran. She cooked an amazing crumble. Not so happy with my pastry. I feel like there's going to be a few long weekends at home trying to sharpen up those skills.
I think my dessert's my strongest dish. Most of the ingredients on there are foraged, like the damsons and the apples to make the puree. Time was always on my mind. Once you've sent your main, you need a good 15 minutes to make it.
Wow, that's sharp. Even with the custard, it's sharp.
With a sorbet on its own.
It's lovely.
My nana used to make crumble. She's always used figs. And Di Serrano's our favourite tipple at Christmas. So Di Serrano, figs, almonds. Probably the section I'm more competent on. But the blast freezer just works against me today. It just didn't freeze, the custards didn't freeze. Yeah, it was a bit of a disaster for dessert, to be honest. Gutted. It was a really nice dessert. Really, I think the judges would have really enjoyed it.
I think the crumble is my strongest dish. Just makes me happy. Souffle is obviously a risky one to attempt in a competition, but hopefully I can pull it off.
It's nice. Nice
Yeah.
flavour.
Yeah. The ice cream is lovely.
I'm doing a crumble tart with quince and brambles. I had to start again for that compote. I burnt it, but everything was good.
I mean, he's got a fair amount of technique on there. He's got tart lining, you've got the acidulated blackberries, you've got the little poached fruits.
My dessert, I'm doing roasted plums with a brown butter, walnut and oat crumble, thyme ice cream and a plum tweel. One of my elements just didn't work. It was a tweel. I had it in the oven, I put a timer on it, put it in the other oven at a very low temperature to cool, and I took it out and it was black. So I think everyone kind of looked around and thought, what's that big plume of smoke? But just got to crack on, and it was down the wire anyway, so I couldn't really make another one. I'm disappointed that they didn't get to go on because I think everything was going so well. It was, the final dish, but I'm very grateful it wasn't something like, my entire starter that was, ruined.
Okay, so a crumble. You've got the elements, I guess.
Yeah, it's very crumbly.
Vanilla thyme ice cream. Oh, that's a bit strong.
For me, strongest would be pastry. Because I'm predominantly a pastry chef anyway, so if I didn't do well on my pastry, then I'd be very upset. My ice cream took longer to churn than I thought. The under oven was a little bit weaker than I thought, and then I nearly left something in there and forgot about it.
That's really lovely.
Flavours are spot on, right?
Let's talk about puddings. Have they hit the brief today?
I've seen some really interesting takes on the theme, for sure. Yeah. I've had lots of elements of the crumble that have been incorporated somewhere on the dish, but not necessarily directly on top of the fruit, as a classic would be. So that's really opened the scope of the dish up, which is fantastic. Seen some really interesting fruits being used. So we had quince being used today, which we don't see that often, to be honest. We've had lots of pickled blackberries and brambles, which are really interesting, and some really interesting flavour pairings. You can tell that the people producing the work actually understand how flavour works on the palate.
Hrishikesh, that's it?
That's it.
They've cooked their socks off.
Absolutely.
What is it like tasting all these plates of food? Does something need to stand out for you to be, that's the one?
It all comes down to that flavor. And as a chairman of judges, when we are tasting the food, we all are like, oh my God, yeah, this is it. This is the one.
Final question. Do you have a winner?
Yes, we do have a winner.
You gonna tell me?
I won't tell you, but I will definitely tell you that I have put 10 more years on me while taking that decision, because it was one of the toughest competition.
Really? Great to hear.
Thank you so much.
I think Young National Chef of the Year it means so much because it's such a prestigious competition. So many great names have come through the competition, and I think it's just a great opportunity to grow and showcase yourself.
Being a chef wasn't always what I planned to do. I switched to the kitchen in just over 2 years ago, and being in the final of the Young National Chef of the Year, yeah, it just helps me see how far I've come and how far I've got to go as well.
It's a huge sacrifice to be able to try and put yourself forward to win Young National Chef of the Year. The willingness to stay late, go in early, go on your days off, practice, do run-throughs, but it's definitely worth it at the end of the day.
It would be great to have my name on the list of winners because they've all done so incredible stuff. Like, you read about the past winners and it's just amazing the fact that I could follow in their footsteps and do what they've done. I think that's an incredible thing.
It would be an honour and a total privilege to be anywhere near the top of where that list is.
If my name was on the list, I'd be very happy. I think anyone would. But again, if I'm on that list or whether I'm not on that list, the journey is what's more important to me.
I think winning Young National Chef of the Year would mean everything for me. I'm 26 now, so I haven't got a chance to do it again. So I hope that I've just done enough to sway the judges.
It takes hard work, grit, failures, determination, perseverance.
It's been a tough year for everyone, so especially to come out of that year and being able to achieve something like Young National Chef of the Year is mind-blowing. So yeah, it would be awesome.
The most important thing about anything to do with food is you're just passionate. You know, you have to be excited for it, you have to love it.
Hopefully I'll win, and it will be like happiest moment of my life.
So the criteria for 2021 was to really evoke what the chefs have been through the last 18-20 months. Every single one of us, whatever sector we're in, whatever walk of life we are, we have all been pretty much on this same path. Future 50 is a really important part of the competition. It's an area that chefs have to have a real focus on now. And you know, my own experiences in lockdown was that after a few weeks we started to have like meat-free and fish-free days. It was like, right, well, let's incorporate that into the starter. So the main course was then, let's really showcase, you know, two industries that were hit so hard, the farming industry and the fishing industry, in your main course. So that includes vegetables, you know, through farming. And the dessert, we all know, we ran out of flour. Everyone was baking sourdough, banana bread, sticky toffee pudding. So it was like, well, tell your story and then sort of turn it into a dish that you think is worthy of the competition. This year's set of competitors is hugely exciting. Hence, it's always been 10. We've gone with 12 this year. So that tells you the quality that came through. 12 chefs that have been locked down and are now ready to go for it. The passion and the ambition in these guys is phenomenal. I'm telling you, this is going to be one amazing National Chef of the Year.
This year's competition will be judged by a stellar lineup of judges, including James Knappett, Anthony Dimitri, Johnny Bone, Nathan Davies, James Golding, James Jockey Petrie, Steve Groves, and Damien Wager. It's time to start the National Chef of the Year final.
The atmosphere in the kitchen right now is pretty intense. Everyone's in there pushing on as hard as they can. You know, there's a lot of work to do, and just the caliber of chefs and judges you have around you know, it's a pretty intense environment for sure.
Everyone was like walking around saying good luck, and I was like, this is quite a nice vibe. And then as soon as it was like, right, you can start now, you just felt everyone just get really serious.
All of a sudden we're all head down, chopping away and cooking. Lots of noises, everyone's focused.
Got my head down, concentrating, blocked everyone out.
Quite anxious, a bag of nerves, just a sheer panic of, you know, what's to come.
I'm trying to channel my nervous energy into focus.
I'm trying to work as clean as I possibly can, trying not to forget my recipes and trying not to make it a mess.
Super excited. I'm not interested in what's going on around me. I've got a great job to do today and I'm determined to win.
Quite unnatural in the sense that you can smell something burning and you can't tell anyone off. You're not looking at, you know, what everyone else is running past. You're literally trying to focus on your own station.
Double checking everything that you're doing, trying to remind yourself of exactly what you've got to do.
In that kitchen, 2 hours is not a long time. You don't want to rush what you're doing, but you have to.
You're cooking for all these top chefs, people you know and looked up to. It's just trying to get through that.
I don't think I actually saw anyone for 2 hours other than a judge. A little bit intimidating seeing like 2 Michelin star chefs. Like you walk in and you're like, all right, this just got a whole lot more serious.
It's intense when the judges come up and speak to you. You pinch yourself really because they know your name and you're trying to describe your dish while trying to focus. In the back of your mind, you're like, oh no, something's burning in the oven.
You can feel there's a tension in the air. We all want to win the title. We've all got a goal to focus on, but everyone's come together.
There's outstanding chefs here, and if you're not 100% on it, then you're not going to win.
Chefs, welcome. I know you're all chomping at the bit, nervous. Channel those nerves into good energy. You've come a long way. You're in the final 12. That speaks volumes in itself. So enjoy the experience, enjoy the occasion, because it's going to be over like that. So soak it up and cook your hearts out.
The first thing that I focused on is I had to cut up like 4 onions, and I was just like, right, head down, don't cut yourself, don't cut yourself. I tried to keep my list as brief as possible because I just didn't want to sit there and read it, but then my mind just went back and I'm like, what? What's this? What's this?
Jack Shaw missed out on the 2019 final, so was delighted to be in the top 12 this year. He loved the brief as it gave him the chance to get cooking and be creative again. When he was young, Jack wanted to be a cricketer. Will he knock the judges for 6 today?
Me being in contract catering, the work at home message really affected us. For 18 months, I've been on and off furlough. We've lost staff through redundancy, which hurt a lot. It wasn't a pleasant thing to go through. And now we're absolutely back to full peak like we were before. And we're missing those people we've made redundant and we just can't recruit. So it's been a real stressful 3 months, really, if I'm honest. This has been like a little shining light of something to focus on that's been almost like a distraction. When the brief came out, and I think I was up till about 4:30 in the morning, so I just couldn't get to sleep because there was just that dish I wrote something down, next dish I wrote something down. It was the first time I'd really had to properly think about food in a long time, and I just couldn't stop. It was so exciting to have something to look forward to, In March, April last year, our only realistic escape was going for that hour-long walk. We're quite lucky where we are. There's a lot of woods, streams. There was just tons and tons of watercress. So me and my girlfriend would walk along and we were picking and just incorporating into our lunches all the time. So that was the inspiration behind the starter. Admittedly, as it got longer, we started taking the walk separately for a bit more of a break. It started out as a we and then slowly became, I'm gonna go at 10, you can go at 2 kind of thing. My starter is based around a Waldorf salad. Things didn't go exactly as planned. I was on section 3 and the backpack machine's on the other side of the kitchen. Went across and I was like, oh, is my induction on? And then I looked across the kitchen and there is a big bit of smoke and I'm like, that is definitely my pan. Run back, pearl barley's burning. I'm like, fantastic start. It was a case of knocking out onto a tray and then anything that was a little bit too dark just had to go. It was just about getting rid of anything that wasn't good enough. You guys can pour it straight into the middle, yeah? Some guys like to try it beforehand.
Some really big, bold flavours there.
Waldorf straight to the palate's all recognised. Yes.
Soup on a plate seems a bit strange.
No, sure, yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah. Pearl barley a little hard.
Not missing anything, no?
From Claridge's to Le Champignon Sauvage, sous chef at Gravette Manor, Adam Smith wants to join the glittering ranks of National Chef of the Year winners. Could this be his year, having aspired to compete for a number of years?
I started my first day's work at Gravette Manor on the first day of lockdown, which was 23rd of March 2020. I was unable to be furloughed, so it was in my best interest to work in the gardens because I could build a good relationship with all the gardeners that were still working and just to get some of the ethos that comes from them and their passion. Working in the kitchen garden and the main gardens at the hotel gave me huge inspiration into all my dishes today. It's been really amazing because I've been able to work pretty much through all the lockdowns. Gravette supported me throughout the whole pandemic, which I'm truly grateful for. Since we opened a couple of months back in May, we have been so busy. We've been fully booked for lunch and dinner all the way through, and everything has been positive. The brief inspired me through entering the competition because everything in the brief has also affected me throughout the pandemic, and it's just my chance to put my story across.
Ben, how's it all going so far?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Yeah, starters up?
Yeah, starters
all done?
Yeah, working on main course now.
What have we got for main course?
We've got bavette with oyster, horseradish, potato and leek.
Elegant, delicious and seasonal is how head chef Ben Boyname sums up his cooking. And with establishments like Petrus, Galvin at Windows and the Goring under his belt, he's sure to be using all that experience in his cooking today.
Just started at the Beaumont and obviously the pandemic hit. My wife continued to work and I was furloughed, so I took the role of teacher. It was really nice to spend time with the family in that way, and I mean, you'd never normally have that situation where you could spend 18 months at home with your family, and yeah, it was different. So we just reopened the hotel. We've gone from one restaurant and a bar to quite a few outlets, from 17 chefs to 34 chefs. So really just sort of focusing on reopening the restaurant, training everybody, getting them up to speed. During the lockdown, I did lots of foraging with the kids, and there's always lots of pine around, and we'd always use that and take it home and then make little jams and pickles out of. I wanted to incorporate that. With the main course, it was about showcasing those that were hit the hardest during the lockdown. One of our butchers had £3 million worth of meat in the fridges when we went to lockdown. And the domestic market, they just wanted fillets and, you know, all the prime cuts. Whereas things like the bavette wasn't used at all. So they had all of that dry aging, which I wanted to sort of showcase.
Happy so far?
Yeah, very happy. Yeah.
And what have you got in here?
So this is my chilled bay leaf and raw Jersey milk rice pudding.
Lovely. Mark Billings returns to the final this year and says that winning would be the icing on the cake. A career in cooking wasn't always Mark's first choice. He would rather have been a striker for his beloved Coventry City. He's certainly hoping to be up front in the judges' minds today.
The beginning part of this year was still furloughed because most of our trade comes from the wedding sector. I really struggled at the beginning part of the pandemic, really finding a purpose. So I became a Royal Volunteer and helped with the vaccination effort. It actually gave me a focus, it gave me some drive and a bit of ambition again. Our family allotments are really important. When the pandemic hit, it really became a chance for us to kind of get out and really forget about what was going on in the world. It was really refreshing to actually get to know my children and who they are as people. Instead of the staples of carrots, onions and parsnips, we grew lemongrass, kohlrabi. It was a thing in our house that the family would meet up on a Sunday and eat at the local Indian restaurant, but we couldn't do that. So we used the crops from the allotment, applied a bit of sort of Indian cuisine to it and made our own sort of fakeaways really, which was brilliant. To have this competition as something pure and solely for myself it's been good. Today I'm cooking a starter of a duck egg and beetroot bhaji. I forgot the garlic in my lentil dal. I was busy talking with Anthony Dimitri and was a little bit starstruck and got a bit carried away and missed the process. It's that moment of sort of, I've missed it. How can I fix this problem?
Mark, how's it going?
Yeah, really well, chef.
Yeah,
really
happy?
pleased. Yeah, I'm on time.
Yeah, you're on time?
Yeah.
Good man.
The egg is cooked beautiful, yeah, and very technical. I mean, it's twice fried, and the timing with the yolk is crucial.
At one point when I come over, he'd forgot the garlic. He was roasting the garlic, and then he's poured the dal into that and mixed it, and obviously that's not doing the job that he might have practiced out.
Happy so far? So far, just need to smash this one out.
From Sydney to the Swiss Alps and beyond, Ross Brown has worked in kitchens all over the world. With a personal, seasonal and refined approach to his cooking, he'll certainly be counting on his global experiences to help him fly today.
We've been pretty busy at work because we work in the financial sector, so it never closed. We've been open the entire time through the pandemic. I was lucky enough to keep my working structure. You know, I wasn't doing my normal job, but we're still in the kitchen cooking. Entering National Chef of the Year has definitely helped me cope with the last 18 months. We weren't cooking that usual fine dining food that I normally do, so that really gave me something to focus on. So yeah, the whole planning stages, trialing the dishes, doing all the menu specking, it definitely has kept me focused for sure. So the starter, there's a cheese used from the Marlow Cheese Company, and I grew up in Buckinghamshire. The main course, my family's from the west coast of Scotland, so I just wanted to use that Gear halibut because it's from the west coast. The honey that I use is actually made in an estate in London, like a 5-minute walk from my flat, and I actually managed to go and harvest the honey for the competition myself with the guys that run the beehives there, which was a pretty cool experience. National Chef was always the one I wanted to enter, and I never thought I was at the stage to do it, and this year came around with a mixture of the pandemic, having a bit more time on my hands and feeling that I was really ready for it. It means a lot to me. You know, I'm very, very proud to have even got to this stage of the competition. My starter is variations of heritage beetroot cooked different ways with a walnut and seed granola.
How's it all going so far?
Yeah, just mad push now to get the main course out.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I'm ready to go.
A member of the RAF, Stefan Sewell, is ready to challenge himself and showcase his skills to our fantastic judges. Having cooked for Her Majesty the Queen, he'll certainly be hoping his passionate approach to cooking gets him up and away today.
My frustration throughout the pandemic is being restricted to cook. And it was affecting me, you know, it really affected me mentally. I was really frustrated. And this is why I entered the National Chef of the Year, so I can do this and have the opportunity to cook. I'm in the RAF, I'm head of chef training, so we do a lot of training for all the recruit chefs. Away from work, I've got 2 beautiful boys and a wife, you know, try and spend as much time with them. It's hard being away from them, and my wife does superbly well. But yeah, as much time as I can at home is always welcome. I love cooking, it's my ultimate passion to be able to cook. In National Chef of the Year is the pinnacle of my career. You know, I joined the Air Force, I'd never cooked before, and 12 years later I'm in the final of National Chef of the Year. It's like an addiction, and I just keep entering every year. It's what I love, and it just means so much to me, and to be able to produce your own food to these chefs is exactly what any chef in this country would dream. I did the final back in 2018, and how I've developed in that short time as a chef is all down to competing in National Chef of the Year. But today I'm cooking a starter of Moroccan spiced pumpkin with cheese curd, olives and figs.
Stefan, it looks fantastic. You happy?
Yeah.
I like the plate.
Oh, you want a knife, bud? We always have it roasted, don't we, and soft and stuff. I think he might have wanted to take it a bit further.
It's busy, there's lots of judges walking about. How are you going to keep it calm today?
I'll just try and ignore them all.
Yeah. Having previously worked at some of Scotland's top establishments, Christopher Niven recently took on a role to relaunch the Marine and Lawn Hotel in North Berwick. Entering and taking on such a big role has certainly come with its challenges, but he's ready and focused for his biggest role yet.
I was unemployed just before the first lockdown, so it meant I was going into the first lockdown without a job or any money coming in, so it was really quite stressful. No restaurants open, no hotels open. You were like wondering when your next job was going to come, so Doing National Chef of the Year last year really helped me just stay kind of focused on something, because I think at the beginning I was just kind of moping around and not knowing what to do with myself. The last 6 months have been extremely hectic, working with my new company on menu development, as well as trying to prepare for the competition and practice as much as possible. My partner Susie probably inspires me the most. She was the one that pushed me to go in the first year where I got to the semi-finals. She's always the one, you know, make sure you're practicing enough and make sure you know exactly what you're doing. Did you bring everything? I think she's got more confidence in me than what I do, so without her I probably wouldn't have entered. So yeah, to be here in the final 12 is probably a lot down to her.
All right, Chef, happy? Yeah, good. Which one would you like to go to the judges? This one here, yeah? Well done. How's it all going?
Not the best. I didn't have the best start to it, but you know, it's about recovery as well.
Elliot Hill is the contemporary and imaginative head chef at Panoramic 34 in Liverpool, and entered National Chef of the Year to push himself, as he feels nothing is achieved in your comfort zone. Let's see how far he pushes himself today.
So over the last 6 months there's been a lot of tears, a lot of panic, a lot of hard work. My kitchen team have been amazing, and so has my team at the restaurant. They've been so supportive, but it's been the toughest time I've ever experienced in the 14 years I've been in the industry. So I'd say entering National Chef of the Year was probably a little bit of a distraction at the start. It was something I wanted to do for a personal level, you know, having suffered from minor bits of anxiety. It's one of those things that I wanted to sort of help me cope with, get you out of your comfort zone to achieve something, and it's certainly done that. This is the first time I've been in the final. I got to the semi-final last year. In the first lockdown I put a hell of a lot of weight on, eating rich pastry-led, cream-led foods. Second lockdown, I lost all that weight by using oat milk, so hence why I used oat milk and oats as part of the dish. So that's probably one of the most personal ones. On the first course, you know, I'd normally make a sheet for the beetroot that goes on top. We do it every day in the restaurant. It rarely goes wrong, and today it went wrong. Right now I'm upset, I'm angry with myself for not getting those things right.
Like an agar.
Yellow gum is meant to cover it, and it's not worked today, so I've turned it into little jelly cubes. I still want the flavour on there, so it's not exactly how I wanted it.
Overcome and adapt.
How's it all going so far, Gary?
Okay.
Okay. That's better than not good.
Yeah, we're okay.
Yeah?
I'm okay.
Gary Townsend is head chef at Glasgow's iconic One Devonshire Gardens, having previously worked at L'Enclume, Restaurant St Baines and Hibiscus. His first time in the final, could he be #1 today?
In the past 6 months, we have finally got back to some kind of normality. For me and my team, the whole pandemic has hit pretty hard in terms of staffing, deliveries, suppliers. We've had to adjust to that, whether that means we've had to cut back on things or do things slightly differently. We've made the best of what we can do. Entering the National Chef of the Year competition takes away all the negative side of things that have been happening. Yes, it's been a hard work, a lot of planning, but it's been the perfect time, I'd say, to enter it. I feel like I'm at the right stage in my career now where I'm comfortable in what I do, and hopefully that shows. So today I'm cooking a beetroot dish. Beetroots have been salt baked and barbecued. I'm not going to have an hour to get a barbecue warm, so I had to improvise on that, heat a piece of coal, blowtorch it to finish it, get the charcoal flavour into the beetroot.
I can pour it on in there for you if you want.
Of
course I can. Where would you like it?
Just a tiny, just a
tiny bit.
little pool, just a tiny.
Just there. Yeah.
It's smoky to me, that.
It's supposed to be barbecued or something.
Oh, it's supposed to be barbecued. Yeah. Small point for adapting, right? It's got the taste on there in a no-flame kitchen.
How did you find the brief?
I thought the brief was fantastic. In the future 50, something that's so important, I just thought, you know, brilliant.
Not content with achieving 2 AA Rosettes, Chef Ian Gourlay entered this year to really show his story of the pandemic and show people just how strong the industry is, and that chefs can bounce back from anything.
Over the last 6 months, apart from driving my partner crazy, just trying to focus, spend as much time as I can practicing, at the same time trying to deal with the staff shortages that everyone's dealing with and motivate the brigade that I have. I think entering the competition has helped boost me tenfold to even get to the stage that I got, that we are now. I think it's something to be proud of anyway. Definitely, I think I've made my menu personal to me, as including as much as I can locally as I can, trying to make as much as I can from scratch, and I think just concentrate on sustainability. I wouldn't say that everything went perfectly as planned. I had intended originally to make homemade mozzarella, but I rushed a certain aspect of it. When I first noticed that the mozzarella wasn't going the way that I wanted it, I could have just curled up into a ball and died. It's worked perfectly in every practice, but you know, you're in an alien environment. I quickly noticed that it was partially setting, therefore I could save something on my dish. It then quickly turned into ricotta. I think making cheese on the day of the competition is quite brave personally, but I feel quite happy that I got something up.
Homemade ricotta, caramelised walnuts.
Well done.
Thank you, chef.
That there is in the middle was mozzarella.
Oh,
but now it's ricotta.
His story started with me of he created a business in lockdown, and it was selling
beetroot business.
No, mozzarella and smoked meats.
Oh wow!
He's made so much mozzarella. He says it's his thing, so I was quite excited about it.
He's now going to do ricotta.
Yeah. Guys, change concept.
His beetroots are well cooked. I mean, good flavour.
What's the quenelles?
It's a little mousse of pumpkin.
Yeah.
Roast pumpkin that's seasoned with tahini.
Yeah.
Russell Plowman is the senior sous chef at Restaurant Andrew Fairley, having previously worked at the Gilpin, Lauterland and the Waterside Inn. Russell says that winning this year would be a fantastic end to a challenging year.
In the run-up to the final, I've been working my normal job and practicing. It has been a very busy time. The competition has given me focus other than getting the kitchen back together. We have a very young team, and these guys, if they can see their sous chef entering competitions such as this, then hopefully that gives them scope in the future, and I can be a real mentor to them, as I've had my head chef mentoring me. The starter I'm cooking today is an autumnal salad. Features beetroots heavily, things that we were growing within the garden throughout lockdown.
Big starter, isn't it? Big plate.
We are looking at a la carte. That's my only thing.
Well, yeah, if I ordered it, I'd be happy. Presentation's cool.
Last year was a bit stressful in that kitchen, very tight. Learned anything from that, bringing that into this year?
Just keeping things simple, but it's about the flavour.
Having spent over a decade working in some of the top kitchens around the world, this was the year for Tom Swaby to return for another attempt to lift the crown. Will Tom's classic and honest style of cooking impress the judges this year?
Over the last 6 months I've been working in Scotland, but I've had to stop due to health with my leg. It's been hard not working just because you're used to it. Again, it almost feels like a little lockdown to myself. Just, you know, I know I can go out and do things, but yeah, when you're in the kitchen constantly, you enjoy it, you miss it. So, but then obviously having National Chef has been great. My dessert is heavily based on lockdown baking, and then even from childhood, sticky toffee pudding. I mean, in lockdown, I'm getting fed up with banana bread, lemon drizzle. So just doing baking and always reminding me of baking as a kid. Having previous experience in the competitions has helped. It helps with your timings, the way you do your prep. Entering National Chef's just helped all round. It helps mentally challenge you as well. It's been good to have something to look forward to, and ultimately I just wanted to better last year. I felt very deflated last year because I knew this year I'd made a couple of mistakes, but last year there was more mistakes than good. When you normally think in your normal work, you're calm and collective, whereas when you get here, that can go out the window. But this year, things feel a bit better. Most things went to plan today. There was a couple of things, you know, when you're using a new induction, it can be harsher than others. The sauce for starter, I'd over-reduced it. It's just, again, a schoolboy error on reducing it too much, and what I thought was boiling was rapidly boiling. So, but other than that, everything else went nearly according to plan. In the moments, yeah, you do panic a little bit. It's natural to panic. The solution to the problem is fixing it, because just looking at it and letting it carry on is not going to help anyone.
Do you want them to pour that on top of the mushroom or just around? Just around. Yeah.
It's a cold dish, no? With a hot tea. It's weird, no? Is it meant to be? Very tasty.
Technically, it's good. I think the custard's cooked nice.
So James, how have you found today?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. 50 ingredients for any chef is a lot to choose from. A lot of chefs chose the beetroot, maybe slightly an easy go-to. Some chefs went, you know, above and used a lot more ingredients that we're not so familiar with. But in all, their cookery execution was really inspiring.
For me, my main course is the strongest. The scallops are amazing from Scotland, and the suckling pig from Udall is just, you're using great ingredients, so you don't need to do too much.
Ooh, good sound.
That's good.
My main course, I'm doing lamb clam and turnip and cucumber. I always feel like you should say lamb bam, thank you ma'am. It may not be my strongest, but it's probably my favourite. Making a sauce out of whey and lamb stock and then cucumber juice is not something I'd done before I started practicing this competition.
Cucumber juice or something in there.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by this one.
I feel my strongest dish was the main course. It's pure comfort food for me. The chicken sauce with the cod wrapped in chicken skin, so you got all that fatty, rich umami. The chicken skin hadn't gone as crispy as I'd like it. I'd normally start again in a restaurant atmosphere, but you didn't have time to do that. If I'd done that, I might not have been able to serve the dessert.
It's quite interesting. I think it's almost like Kiev, isn't it?
I think that's what he's after, yeah.
How is it?
Cod's cooked nicely.
Skin could be a bit crispier.
I feel my strongest dish today is possibly the pork and langoustine. It just shows off beautiful ingredients which have been treated with care and respect.
Looks
incredible, isn't it? Sepset, beautiful, nicely seared. That velouté is good as well.
I think my strongest dish is the main course, the halibut with roasted chicken and chicken wings.
Yeah, I'm loving the flavour of that sauce. Absolutely delicious.
For my main course, I am doing a take on beef, oysters, stout and onions.
Wow, that's very rich. He's definitely got plenty of flavour in there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. I love the combination, but I think he's gone a bit too oyster heavy.
For main course, I'm making bavette of beef. By their very nature, it sometimes can be a little bit tough. I brined it for 48 hours and to try and get it as tender as possible, but it's not fillet of beef. But that was the story of the dish. But then I saw other people serving sirloin and fillet, and if it's up against that, then obviously it's never going to be as tender.
Interesting texture, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's that, the beef?
Yeah.
It's water bath.
Didn't see a grill in there. Maybe it weren't an option for him.
That's a real shame because that bavette is good quality. That flesh grilled is lovely.
The dish that I feel is my strongest dish, I would personally have to say is my main course. During the lockdown, I worked very closely with my game supplier, so I kind of based it around local game from the Scottish borders.
Great flavour.
Very good.
Good cooking, that, to be honest, with the rabbit.
Lovely and soft.
It's wild, yeah. Gets from a local game dealer.
Wow, might ask him for his number.
I think my strongest dish would be my main course, which is braised gear halibut. The biggest obstacle is when you've got a hot main course. I did a fish main course, you know, so the margin of error for that is very, very small, especially when you're dressing, you haven't got your hot lamps, so time is really of the essence.
This is the prettiest of the main courses so far.
I'd be well happy with that one that you're tucking into now.
Yeah, it looks very
good.
pretty. The chicken's delicious. The chicken's really well cooked.
Really good.
So Nathan, let's talk main course.
Yeah.
Anything that really stood out to you today?
There was a couple that really stood out actually. Has been really enjoyable main courses. Very different dishes actually as well. The few that stuck out. But yeah, there was a few front runners for me.
Brilliant.
Being aware of time is a massive thing in that kitchen.
Time's absolutely flying past you. You know you've got so much to do and you can't really waste any time. Non-stop. When it got to about 25 minutes, you could feel the panic in the room a little bit more. Like certainly with me.
Last 10 minutes, guys.
My cake for my dessert wasn't cooking at all, so managed to get the oven to the right temperature, but what it said it was reading wasn't the case. So luckily I managed to check that before it was too late.
You can see like it's sunk in the middle. I think he's just tried to take the cooked bit from the edges.
It's definitely showed off the honey.
Yeah. It's got like a savoury feel to it. It's quite strange. I've never really tried anything quite like it.
For dessert, I made East pudding with apple and pine caramel. I practiced with a Rationale oven, so it's very consistent temperature and humidity. It was a little bit darker than I'd like.
A couple of things could have set a bit more, but it wasn't catastrophe.
God, he smashed that out, didn't he?
The flavours are there, aren't they?
While I'm blowtorching my bananas, I run out of gas and I'm just like, come on. Like, this is something you definitely should have thought about. Just looked at Jockey and I was like, help!
It's more true to a traditional sticky toffee pudding, isn't it?
As always with all competitions, it's pastry. Rolling it out and you're stressed. I don't know why I do pastry all the time, but I did, and it was always the pastry. It's always my Achilles heel. But yeah, we got there in the end. I think I've done all right.
For me, in a competition, it's more of a complete dish.
No, I wouldn't say everything went to plan. Put my sponges for the dessert into the sauce to get the sauce going through them, but I think I left it too long and it just got a little bit too soft. Obviously you're gutted, but it's about how you deal with it, I suppose.
Not everything went as planned. I mixed the wrong ingredients together for the tartlet base, so to really think on my feet and adapt. The end result was good. I felt that it worked.
I like that.
Yeah, the sorbet is lovely.
Making the sourdough, when I saw the brief, I wanted to put that in there, but I kind of wanted to be a bit different because I don't think many people would think of putting a sourdough into an ice cream. Did everything go to plan? Not really. When I realised that the plate had gone out and I forgot the sponge, it was just a horrible sinking feeling. It's a bitter pill to swallow. For me, it's probably going to live with me, you know. Unless I'm fortunate enough to win, then I'll probably forget about it. But overall, I'm very happy with what I've done.
What did you think of the sourdough ice cream?
I thought it's going to pop out more. I think it worked really well as a savoury dish.
Tastes more oaty than sourdough.
My dessert, I'm cooking a meadow sweet rice pudding with honey and quince. I had an oven probe in there, but it kept fluctuating slightly, so my rice pudding cooked probably 15-20 minutes quicker than I expected. I would have liked it to have taken its full 90 minutes in the oven, just so all the rice absorbs all the beautiful meadow sweet flavour.
Oh wow, look at that.
Is it from the gardens of Gravetye, was it?
Yep.
So Jockey, let's talk desserts.
Yes.
How did they do?
They've done incredibly well under the circumstances. A lot of them have delivered what was asked of them from the brief. Some really hit it, and some didn't, missed it. Whether it was too sweet or...
Have you got a winner?
For me, I have got a clear winner when it comes to the dessert.
You going to tell me who it is?
I can't tell you, but it did taste delicious.
All that matters.
As chairman, you know, I'm looking for the judges to find the best dishes, the best menu. I've spoke about flavour. That to me is always paramount, but also that menu composition, that harmony that goes from starter into main course into dessert. Does it click together? That's when the stars align. I just want them all to do well. You know, I want them all to win. My advice for those that don't win today, you know, remember there can only be one winner. You were whittled down to the last 12. That means you are clearly doing something amazing. You have to lose to understand what it's like to win. All the people I respect in life, the most successful people in life, have lost. I've lost many a time, but then I appreciate the winning. So come back and do it again.
There was a few hiccups throughout. However, I think I can hold my head high. So, you know, I'm proud.
You're never going to get that experience again, to be in a room full of some of the best chefs in the country. The opportunity just to cook for them and getting that feedback, that's invaluable.
To get them telling you that the food that you've put up tastes nice, it really gives you a validation that what you're doing is good.
National Chef of the Year means to me a huge amount. You know, I've watched previous colleagues and friends go through this competition and see how much they've taken away from it.
It's for chefs judged by the very best chefs. It really carries a huge amount of prestige and kudos within the industry.
It's the most respected competition in our industry.
To walk in the footsteps of some of the people who have been here before is humbling.
Gordon Ramsay won it for crying out loud.
Gordon Ramsay, Russell Bateman, Harishi, Steve Groves. There's too many to name. It's a pretty prestigious list of chefs.
I think the biggest rivals, all of them, they're not here for no reason. I'm not here for no reason. Everyone's got a chance. That's why they're in the final.
To win National Chef of the Year takes a huge amount of personality, organisation.
Razor sharp focus, hard work, dedication.
A strong palate, good eye. Every dish needs to be perfect.
Ultimate preparation and ultimate focus.
Hard work, a lot of dedication, passion and love for what you do.
But also it takes a bit of personality, and that personality should shine on the food.
You just need to give absolutely everything you've got if you've got any chance of winning it.
Winning this year would be amazing. It just prove that what you're pushing for is worth it. What you're doing well. We've all lost 18 months of our lives, so it'd be good to, you know, have something at the end of that to feel like all that hard work and all the tough times is worth it.
This has been my life, you know, it's all I've been focused on and it's all over now, you know, I'm actually quite sad.
I feel quite privileged to be in this 12. Looking around the room, there's some serious talent in here today. So yes, it would mean absolutely everything to win, but I've gained a lot just to get here. But yeah, I want to win desperately, desperately.
Anybody that decides to put their head above the parapet and have a go and be measured on what it is they're going to put forward deserves credit. And every single chef that decided to put pen to paper this year and try to create a menu, produce those dishes at home or at work, and then capture that and put it forward to be considered deserves every praise.
And that's it for 2021. The chefs have done all they can to impress the judges, and we're going to find out very soon who will win the titles of National Chef of the Year and Young National Chef of the Year. As always, a huge thank you to our partners and sponsors, for without you, it wouldn't be possible.